Hello, everyone. How's it going? Just trying to get some stuff loaded up here. All right. We are live. All right. We are live. Perfect. All right. Make sure everybody can hear me. So it has been a crazy week. Lots going on. Um, lots of stuff to talk about. It was for this chat. Now, originally, I was going. Hey, my brother, Frostafist here, Mythos. How's it going, my brother? Now, originally, I was going to paint my Hell Blasters tonight, but I am tired, and I know from knowing myself and my own experience, if I start, if I was to paint right now, I'd get super frustrated. It wouldn't be a fun time, and I want these models to be fun. I want it to be exciting. I want it to be, I want it to be a positive experience. The hobby should be is supposed to be a cathartic experience for me. So, but that being said, we're also going to talk about all things Ultramarines. We are March 2nd. It is the March from Macragge. If you haven't seen Mythos' and I's video yet, we both have videos out talking about what we're going to be painting for March Macragge and inviting all you guys to paint something. If you paint Ultramarines is great. Any models as long as it's blue. That's it. It's the boys in blue this month, the Ultramarines. So yeah, that's what we've teamed up to do. I am painting Hellblasters. If I remember correctly, Mythos is painting a number of heavy intercessors, one of his dreadnoughts, and there's another model I can't remember. I apologize for that. But he's painting a bunch of stuff. I'm painting up. I'm starting with my Hellblasters, and hopefully I get through them in good time, and then I may end up painting some character models. I am in desperate need of leaders for my army. Right now I have is lieutenant. Obviously because everything sort of changed with the launch of the last codex. A lot of the models I did have, captains and other stuff, has all disappeared, right? So technically I'd still use the models, but I want the updated stuff at this point. So yeah, if I get those Hellblasters done in good time, I will most likely jump onto one of the character models from Leviathan. I do not. Oh, it's Tiggy. Yes, thank you, Chief Librarian Tigurius. That's who the other model. I apologize. That's the model he's painting. I wish I had the model. I will get the model eventually. But yeah, I have a captain in Terminator armor, Terminator Librarian, the apothecary, and the lieutenant with combi weapon to paint up. I also have a Reaver lieutenant to paint up, so I might get him done. But yes, I definitely need leaders or HQ choices in my army. I am missing those now. I had a ton. Now I only have one. I have Uriel Ventress. I should probably get him done. And Calgar. Not Calgar. Gulliman. I should probably get him done up too. But all in due time. But we are on the March to Macragge. Cold water's good. And I've had a long standing relationship with Ultramarines that stretches back to 2nd edition 40k. It was a different time. It's a very different time. It was more of a skirmish game back then. You still had squads. It was usually smaller because the points were very different than they are now. Even massively different from 3rd edition when it came out. And yeah, it was weird. I think it was like 300 some odd points for a tactical squad. It was a game where Overwatch and Librarians ruled. Anybody with psychic powers was devastating on the battlefield. And Overwatch was could be a heavily abused, heavily utilized. Why the Zoggy wearing red? Well, because I felt like it. But yeah, it's been it was a different game, and that's when I fell in love with it, with the game, with my Ultramarines. different paint styles back then. It was about the same time, Trader. Nah, I'm just undercover. Shh. But it was a different time back then, and I mean the models were still cool. A lot of metal, a ton of metal, a lot of metal, and it was now of course everything's plastic. It's so much lighter, and I can attest to that. My carrying case has got significantly lighter with a lot of metal coming out of it. Like you could kill someone with the old Marnius Cowgirl model. You put that in a sock, it becomes a deadly weapon. Not that I know that. Not that I know that. Not that I know that. But yeah, getting back to this last couple weeks have been absolutely insane. It's been crazy. I don't even know if it was such a weird couple of weeks. It started with me going, I'm doing a solo battle report and saying, I'm going to do my very best. I want to get it out. I want you guys to enjoy it. My first attempt was a flaming pile of garbage. It was bad. It was so bad. I learned a lot, and I learned a lot from my mistakes, from my errors, which is always a good thing. And when I put out my video going, that was rough because it was rough. It was not good. But I try to keep a positive spin on it. I was kind of down in the dumps of that one. It sucked. It really did. Um, but I said, okay, well, so I started reading through my codex. I started reading through the Chaos Space Marine Index. I was reading through the rule book. I was making sure I knew the rules better. There was a time where I knew them all very, very well. And part of that was because I worked for the company. I could read every single book, no matter what, every day I wanted to. At Christmas time, because I worked at a mall, we had to work mall hours. So if the mall decided to stay open to 11 o'clock or midnight, we were open till 11 o'clock at midnight. Now, our general demographic at that point was in bed. So you kind of sat there reading every single Codex Army book over and over again. And so I took that lesson again. I went, okay, I need to read my Codex. I need to read the rules. I need to get back in touch with how everything flows. So I did that with my Ultramarine, with my Space Marine Codex. I did it with the index and the app. And it worked the second time through, but that wasn't the really crazy part. It was the response I received to that video. It was wonderful. You guys were great. It was wonderful. But the one that stood out that I did not expect, and I wanted to make this point pretty clear, it was not a pity me post. It was going, that was rough. And the reason I did it is because I said I was going to put something out and I couldn't do it. So I want to let you know why I couldn't do it. Because the one thing that takes me off is when someone says they're going to do something, and I've done this myself. I'm guilty as hell myself. When you say I'm going to do something and then it doesn't get done, it pisses me off. So I said, I buggered it up. I'm sorry. I've learned some lessons. Here we go. But the response I got from one Baldermort, wow. I did not expect that at all. Not at all. Oh my Lord. I listen to Baldermort all the time. Guy's got a voice for the lore, for the fluff. He's covered so much crazy stuff. It's amazing. So amazing. And I'm like, why the hell's Baldermort talking to me? And I'm like, wow, yeah, no, cool. He's like, hey, send me some words and I'll do your intro. What? Like what? No, where does Baltimore? No, the guy's got he's up here in the stratosphere of all things 40K ish on. I'm somewhere for me there's this topsoil and there's the muck and I'm somewhere under that. And that's not to be mean to myself, but holy crap, where did that come from? And I kind of stood there. I was actually on my phone reading that going, what the hell? What the hell? You know what I mean? And so, hey, I took him up on that, and I said, sure. What do you want me to? Some stir fried noodles. Let's have some noodles. That's cool. Enjoy your noodles, my friend Mythos. Um, uh, yeah, just wow. And so that's what I did, and the words that he read out, you heard the intro to the battle report, or the words that I wrote, and that was surreal. This guy has made, he's got multi millions of views on his channel, and just wow. I could not be more stunned and honored by that. That was incredible. So yeah, we did. I threw that, and I did the very best battle report I could. And yeah, I gotta say a massive thank you to Baltimore. I've had more people than I can count watching the video, new subscribers, the whole shebang. Wow. And there's no way I could pay him back properly other than saying thank you very much in the most like humble and truthworthy saying of like, I thank you. Honestly, that was crazy. Just wow. Wow. So that happened. And then, of course, that was just so weird. I don't even know what to say to it. Just weird in a great way, but wow. And then, of course, we've then meander into March now. So March to Macragge. That's a mean legend, though. He still cares about others. Yeah, he is. He's super humble, and wow, like just he is. He's awesome. Like I remember when I first found his stuff, just wow. And I said it. The guy, like, if anybody can get this to Games Workshop, they need to hire this guy. This guy has a voice for those, like they do. The fact that they haven't gotten him, and maybe they reached out. Who knows, right? They don't tell anybody anything, but the fact that he isn't doing something is a massive loss for them. Huge loss, massive gain for us, right? Yes, he should be the lore master. He should. This guy's got the voice for it. He's got the everything. Just boom. So yeah, it's crazy, crazy. Could not believe it. But yeah, that was my week. Oh, and then at the same time, um, it's been also a couple weeks of having to spend a lot of money on appliances. So first off, our dishwasher, we found it as a lemon. It's 2 years, and it's starting to have faults. Pieces on the inside are falling off. There's faulty sensors, so we had to spend some money to get that all set up to be replaced. And then last weekend, our 10-year-old stove. I mean, it's 10 years. It did its job. Decided to have a massive electrical failure, and not just shut off, just poof, done. A massive. You could hear the discharge, the electrical discharge, come out of this thing. And my wife was preheating the oven. She's gonna put a turkey breast in for dinner, and she opened up. All you hear is and flame shot out. I looked inside the contacts that hold and charge the heater at the bottom were melted. The control panel done. So that was fun. So we've had to now we got rid of that. Luckily, we have that for free, and now we have a microwave again. And now we're saving up to buy a stove because it decided to almost blow up. So obviously, my wife didn't do the proper activation rituals, as she should have. She didn't daub it in sacred oils, the things that you should do, right? I mean, our toaster takes 20 minutes to get going. You have to recite the holy incantations, the canticles, right? But she didn't. So, I mean, really, it's her fault. But let's get back to Ultramarines. So, March Macragge, I am a huge fan of March Macragge. Ever since I started doing it a few years ago, people doing it. It's fun. It's fun. And I know some of you guys are having fun. I know, G there, you're going to be paying up. She didn't pray the chaos gods. Well, see, if she's paying to the chaos, she didn't pray to the chaos gods. Well, if she is, That makes things a little bit awkward. I'm a loyal son of the Emperor, you know. Maybe it's like a Romeo and Juliet thing, you know, love that dare not speak its name, you know, a loyal son of chaos worship. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, no, March from Craig is fun. And every time it comes up, it makes me feel a little bit nostalgic. Because, like I said, I was saying earlier, I've been doing this since, and I know maybe some people are sick of it, but to me, it's a point of pride that I've been doing this long. I'm still enjoying the hell out of it. And you've done it in so many different ways, being not only a young hobbyist and then getting you know, getting more experience doing it for so many years, even working for the company. Um, it's awesome. It's always been so cool, and I love it. And the entire time now, I've dabbled with. Obviously, yeah, if you've seen the battle port, I've got Chaos Marines, I've got some Necrons, I've got Eldari. At one point, I had a 13th Company Space Wolf army from back in the original. Original. Just checking in, my bro. Gotta go, but hey, awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, V Twin Gaming. That's probably Al. I would assume it's Al. There's a couple of them on there. Check them out, guys. They're good stuff. He's done a bunch of videos on airbrushes that are really, really cool. I've never got airbrushes. I'm an old school classic guy with just a standard and regular brush. But if you need to know about airbrushes, check out this guy's video. Please. Please. But yeah, no, it's been crazy to have done to have been at it for so long and still loving the hell out of it. That's why I actually dug up some of my old models and new models, because there's a history there. I mean, I know people have called the Ultramarines Smurfs, and you know, they're the Vanilla Marines and all that. I'm a Neanderthal as well. Brush Lickers Unite. Brush Lickers 405 Union. That's what it is. But I remember picking up my first codex. Was also my first jump into 40K. Was I love the taste of paint. I hope that's from a brush. I hope you're not like, don't airbrush. No, bad. Don't. Anyways, I was at a hobby store out at a lovely little city called North Bay, which is several hours from here. And I was actually looking for a comic book store, which, funny enough, they were actually diagonal from each other across the road. We just hit this store first and walked in, and I couldn't. I remember some of the makeup of the building, which is really weird. I can remember, if I go into a building, I can remember very, very well the geographical makeup of that building. I remember walking in. I could see down the other end of the store some guys on a table. Of course, it was a green flock table. That was the way you did it back then. Everything had green flock. And they were playing game. I'm not sure which game. I never went that close. But I walked through, and there's just walls of models. Couldn't tell you where they were. Again, this is back in 95, right? And you have a good night's sleep there, Al. Have a good night. Yes, Brush Lickers Unite. And then there was this massive rack. It's all those old racks with the shelves that are built up. And in that made it through all the noise of all the colors was this book that said Ultramarines on it. It was cool, kick-ass guy. I was sitting Space Marine captive, the big Ultramarines banner behind him. Legend has you like enough private mates up brushes you'll fart in a while. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's how they make it. Just have people licking brushes all day. You know? But big. Anyways, we could get gory with that. And that was the book. And I read it from start to finish like 1,000 times. Right? And it was amazing. All this background, these cool Marines, this guy called the Emperor, these crazy characters, the cool scenery they made for their pictures, all these weird alien terrain, fortresses, these weird orcs and chaos Marines, just crazy stuff. Just blew my mind. And even in that book, they talk about Space Souls, Blood Angels, Black Templars, all these different Imperial Fists, but that saying there are other chapters out there. I mean, and they had They did talk about a few other things, but it was about the Space Marines. At that point, I think you had the Space Wolf Codex on its own, and you're this is second issue, so you had the Angels of Death book, which covered both the Dark Angels and Blood Angels. In fact, it had the original piece of artwork that, depending on how you build it, the new Mephiston model looks like. It was actually this really cool black and white artwork. Mephiston standing here with a sword in one hand, like basically rubbing blood off of his mouth. And actually, one of the ways you can build the new Primaris size version of him is with his hand up. So it's really cool. Again, one of those cool things, you see the past influencing the future, right? But I had it, and I started bothering my parents. Hey, guys, you got to get me this. Oh, I love this. And that's where it went from for me. So this humble little store in a northern town, and all of a sudden, I'm hooked. And I went from there, right? I think, the first models were 5 tactical Marines, because you get them in squads of 5, 5 Terminators, and believe my first character, just trying to think here, was a metal, it was a metal chaplain. A metal 2nd edition chaplain. Yeah. So that was my first army. 5 Terminators, 5 tactical Marines, and a chaplain. That was it. I think I still have all those models too. I may not have the Terminators, but I know I have the tactical Marines, and I know I have the chaplain. I don't use him because he's ugly as hell. They were really bad. Not as bad as the Rogue Trader chaplains. They look like... But that was it. And I followed every codex since then. We've had the highs and lows, the Matt Ward period where Ultramarines became the ultimate everything, which I think was a bit over there. He was a fanboy. I get it. He was a fanboy, but, those are the days, right? Something I did want to show you. I'm going to turn this light on here. So I want you guys to see this. So we're going to take a trip down Ultramarines memory lane here. Some of these models you may have seen. Some of these you may not have seen. I've got 3 of them here to kind of show the time differential. So first off, we have this little guy here. I'm going to shine some light on. There we go. See that? Perfect. That is a Rogue Trader Space Marine from the first edition of Warhammer 40,000. He's got the old style bolter on there. You actually see on his back, he's got his ammo clip. Old school stuff, right? Plastic. Looks very cool. That's one of the originals. I have 3 of these guys, right? I also have a metal one, a metal Marine, and a metal chaplain. But that's it. Now, obviously, you can see where even back then, Marines haven't changed that much. Yes, the sculpts have grown and significantly gotten better. And obviously, you look at the new Heresy stuff, WoW, and the new Primaris stuff, but it's still there, right? A lot of it has changed, but it's still all there. So that's pretty cool. I even got the old backpack there, right? That's an old school one, right? Next up, we're going to jump to the 2nd edition, right? That's one of my favorite models, a little Scout Sergeant. And these guys came out I think it was about 96, 97 when these guys first dropped. I might be wrong on that, but again, classic mono pose that all metal models had. And what I mean by that, it's not like now where they're very dynamic. It was one arm up, one arm down, or both arms sort of equidistant to the body. And every metal model was sort of like that, especially when it came to a leader of a unit or a character. It was always one arm up, one arm down. You look at Marnice Calgar from 2nd edition, one arm up, one arm down. You look at Ragnar, both arms sort of equidistant to each other, right? He was sort of like, bam. It was just one arm up, one arm down. Calgar had one up and one there. And you had Mephiston, who was like this. You had Ragnar Blackmane, who was like this. You had other models, but it was always one or the other, always out to the side. Nothing, very rare to have anything forward, right, or anything down. It was always up. Boom, boom. That was just how they did it, right? So he's like that, right? Very, very cool. Lots of great detail for these guys, right? Metal always was great, but if you look at that chainsword, that's the chunkiest chainsword ever. Look at that thing; it's massive, You're not going to actually cut through anything. You're just going to bludgeon something with that, right? And then, of course, leads up to today, nowadays, right? This is my, sorry about that, like kit bashed lieutenant I have. This is a Marine I picked up right at the beginning of 8th edition when when all the new Primera stuff came out. I wanted to see what all the fuss was about with the models. I picked up one of those easy put together test Marines. Of course, I gave him a head from an Ultramarines upgrade sprue, and I clipped off the magazine and put on one from a Terminator Stormbolter, and of course painted him up to have the the knee pads there, threw some gold around, some trim. But yeah, so I mean, again, you look at this coming out, say what? Oh, it's been what, 20? It's been 8 years now around that, where you have, these guys came out. You got that, and of course, let me get that light up there so you see. And it all started with that. And while the obviously the molding process has changed, the technology has changed, the size of the model is insane, but all the same designs are still there. Yeah, they got bolter rifles now, or in terms of this guy, a master crafted bolter, and this guy's got the Umbra pattern bolter from back in the day. But it's all still there, which I think is really cool. I think it's a testament to when these guys were designed, that even now, all this time later, even with them having new armor with like bigger plates and extra armor and all that stuff, the foundation is still solid. I think that's what I like about Space Marines the most. Is just a solidity, a continuity to them. There's also tragic hopelessness to them, but that's what's really cool. That's why I love, especially my Ultramarines, right? There's a cool stat. Pete Me's live. Hello there. Sorry, I did see you and I didn't want to, but so that's, you want to talk history? I know history about this stuff. So that's where I started. Now these guys I didn't get till many years later, because by the time second edition came around, I didn't even know about Rogue Trader, right? I just knew it was second edition. It was many years later I got those 3 guys. Very lucky to have them. They're incredible models, even if they don't fit anymore at all. They're just something really cool about them. I'm glad I was able to get them all done up and painted up. They were in my army for a while, and yeah, still very fond of those guys. But yeah, so again, that's some of the history for me with my Ultramarines, right? I'm not sure why I stuck with them though. It's I think the visuals were a big deal for me. The visuals of these, again, the color schemes were different than and I've noticed it over the years that everything's gotten, well, it's called the Grim Dark. All the tones have gotten darker. I remember when I got the second edition, the bright blues, bright yellows. It wasn't like nowadays. Everybody paints the chest eagles and the trims on Ultramarines, the poster boys there, with gold. That was up. That they did that up until third edition. Third edition was the same thing. You have, these massive battles going, these cool, dioramas, for lack of a better, put together for all the pictures and the books, and you got these big, massive orcs. And they've got these really super bright colored Marines. So it didn't matter with Blood Angels, Space Wolves, Dark Angels, Ultramarines. Everything was bright. You have these big Ultramarines, bright blue, bright yellow trim, bright yellow gold, or bright yellow chest eagles, red bolters, red chainswords. It was colorful. It's the way they did it. And I think there's something striking with the blue and the red and yellow to me that was sort of those primary colors. I guess it's very cool. I've never been a big fan of painting everything red or yellow. Just something about the blue spoke to me, and it was just good, because when you build an army, it doesn't matter if you're playing for your fluff player, you like just building big armies, you like telling stories, you're a full-on tournament player. There's something, when you find a color scheme you like, it's because you got to paint them up, right? So you want something that you're gonna like. The days of green foam ball, red, yeah, the red. So yeah, there was a lot of times you'll see these old pictures where you've got this ball of green foam, some painted up, and it's had toothpicks jammed in it with these. I guess I'm not sure how they made it, but lots of little spikes on it. It's like a giant alien round cactus. It was in everything, everything. It was a weird old days of GW, right? Where it was weird, but it was fun. And then third ed, I stuck around. The third edition was the biggest change that the game saw until eighth, as it saw lots of different changes. Movement rates became, generic around the whole. Of the, every infantry moved a certain rate, bikes and beasts and vehicles all moved at certain rates. Before that, there were movement rates. Obviously, the movements came back in 8th edition. The old white dwarf printed, yeah, they were cool. The old battle reports were great. I remember some of those. They did a really good job with them because they told a story. And some of the ones now are good, but they're just not the same. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because I'm older and I don't connect in the same way I did. But third edition was a weird one because the fluff was more concrete at that point. It really done a great job in second edition making the fluff for everybody, not just Ultramarines, more cohesive. They built up an Imperium. The parts had fallen into place. Now they still have lots of building up to do, and obviously now there was the story of the Emperor versus Horus. Now that's been really played out, and we know the specifics of it, but back then it wasn't the same way. The codexes were different. They were so small, which was really weird. So I went from like a thick codex in second edition to this really thin one in third, which was weird. Third edition. Now, again, that was only for a little while. Then they started near the end with things like Demon Hunters. Again, those codexes weren't bad. They had everything you needed. They had lots of fluff, lots of cool stories, very, very characterful stories that made you feel like you were in that universe, right? A lot of it was from perspective of the Imperium. That was a big thing in third edition. Everything in the books didn't matter up to a certain point. It was all from the perspective of Imperium. It's like you were reading data slates prepared by Inquisitions. But then the Witch Hunters came out. The Grey Knights came out. The second edition, third edition Chaos Space Marine Codex came out. So there's two of them in third edition. There was the first one, like everybody else, is very straight to the point, very small, and then a new one came out, which was big. It had all the characters there, the Books of Chaos, which was an amazing thing because it allowed you to build one of the all the original Trader Legions, right? And yeah, the Necron Codex came out. It was bigger, so they started changing. Fourth edition is probably one of my favorite editions. The Ultramarine Codex, the Space Marine Codex, I should say, was superb. Every codex in that edition was just amazing. They were so full of character. You could build pretty much any Space Marine army you wanted. The artwork, the way they talked about the battle for Macragge was awesome. That was the focus of the fourth edition, was the battle for Macragge. The starter set was pretty good. You had 10 Space Marines, a tactical squad. You had your little lieutenant, I think his name was Varys, little pilot, the crushed Aguila lander. You had, I think, somewhere in the mark, I think you had 10 Termagants and 5 or 6 Gene Stealers, and of course some spores and spore mine counters, right? But the artwork was insane, right? From the very front cover, where I had this really this awesome picture of Marnius Calgar in his new armor, huge, fighting off Tyranids, his honor guard all around him. It was also the way they did it. It was like one of those old school, 18th century paintings, right? That you see of some sort of British hero fighting off the French, Napoleonic artwork, right? It was vast. It was amazing. And even the characters, everything about it, from Cassius came back, the new Calgar and his new armor. You had Tigurius as the new model. Trannic War veterans. You got Tellian in there. All these cool new characters popped up, right? Actually, I think Tellian came later, but I can't remember. I might be wrong on that. Lots happened, right? I see them in local GW stores making some else. Yeah, that's cool. Retro boards are cool. But yeah, it was amazing. Loved it. And the way they set up the starter set was great because you get to learn everything. What was really cool is this is when things were really taking off. This is in the 2000s, right? Early 2000s. Their website was changing from just showing off cool stuff and having just lots of fluff in there so you could go through every unit. They added stuff. You had the Battle for Macragge mission booklet, and then they expanded it in White Dwarf and online. So it went from having Varys trying to escape some spore mines around the crashed ship to on half the tactical squad taking on some Termagants. Then you have the sergeant, his half of the tactical squad taking on Gene Stealers, and then getting everybody against everybody. And then stuff in the White Dwarf brought in captains and command squads and, Tyranid warriors and the dreadnoughts. And you got bigger and bigger and bigger. It was awesome. Fourth was amazing. Good to see you as always, Mythos. Retro boards are awesome. Retro boards are cool. We made sort of a retro board back in my GW days, but I'm not sure where the board is now. It's probably been put in a dumpster somewhere, unfortunately. But yeah, all through that, the Ultramarines always got some really cool stuff. Not the other chapters didn't get some cool stuff, too. They all got really cool stuff. Stories were expanded on. Everybody got new models, so on and so forth, right? But yeah, the Ultramarine stuff always were very running back them as well. Imperials with Pooh Chalice and a Vault Cutaway. Yeah, that was Rogue Trader. Rogue Trader and Second were kind of all over the place, especially Rogue Trader. It was the first version. Things weren't nailed down. They were kind of throwing, everything against the wall, seeing what stick. It was all over the place. I mean, you've probably seen it. There was half human, half Eldar, sorry. This is the one that you see a lot, was a half human, half Eldar librarian for the Ultramarines. So it was all over the place. Just, right? Obviously, second edition started firming up everything. You kind of got more into what a Space Marine chapter actually was. Yeah, it was all over the place. But by third, everything had been sort of put where it is now, right? Where the foundation was definitely set by third edition, and now it's been built on and changed. Of course, retconned. Weren't Space Marines more techno-barbarians? Right? Well, again, yes and no. It was all over the place. Like you said, it was all over the place. Yes, some of them were, some of them weren't. You could have like 1,001 paint schemes for even Ultramarines. Let's just stay on our boys in blue. We're not always boys in blue. You could have Ultramarines like we know them, the blue and all that. But there was like camo. There was winter camo Ultramarines, desert camo Ultramarines, jungle camo Ultramarines, and there was a hint of blue on anything. Right, whatever they had to. So it was much more like a modern military where you go in and you're not like, hey, I'm on some, deep dark jungle world, and here I am in my bright blue wandering around. No, they had jungle camo, right? So it was very, very different. Very, very different, but a lot of fun. Oh yeah, so, but there was always something about the lore, especially when they did the Battle for Macragge. Just this, the way it was described. The writers were great because they gave it a depth. One of the problems I think for a very, very long time, until about third edition when they really got it, is that any Space Marines, like Space Marines, the Ultramarines specifically, were seen as pretty bland because they were the generic Marine. That's why people call them vanilla Marines, right? You had your Blood Angels who were vampires. You had your Space Wolves, which were basically space Vikings. You had your monastic green Dark Angels with their robes, right? And their deep dark secrets. Here's the Ultramarines going, tra la la, we're awesome. We don't have any of that stuff. No trauma. right? But so I liked about the battle for Macragge and all the other stuff. It gave them a lot of character. It gave them a scar, a hurt, a trauma, right? Wish it would come back. Some Spec Up Marines, the black, dark blues, and such would look wicked. The thing is, you can paint them any way you want. Apparently, like even back in the fluff, they talked about having Space Marine armor that was chameleonic. So it was blue if they were in parade, but the minute they had to go in somewhere, they clicked that on, and it would adapt to wherever they were. But again, that's one of those things that got left behind in the craziness of the old editions, right? That brings us all the way to this book, which I really, really like. Again, although to me, even now after all this time, going through the 8th, 9th, and 10th edition, there's still something missing in these books. And they're just not the same amount of fluff. I like the fact that, you know, and they've definitely pushed out and they've changed things up. Ultramarines aren't exactly the same poster boys. They are, but they're not. But it's cool to see them back here. I like the fact that everybody's kind of here. Space Wolves, White Scars, Blood Angels, Dark Angels, right? And the Ultramarines. I do like they do have some nice fluffy stories in here. But yeah, I mean, doesn't that just, to me, I don't know. Look at that. Doesn't that just look awesome? Just these awesome models. I do have to get myself some of those company heroes because they are they're pretty damn cool. But yeah, I don't know. But that's some of my history with the Ultramarines. I've always loved that. This is one of my main goals this year is to get this done. Right, I've got the 5 Infernus Marines done. I just have the other 6 or 7 models to do to be all done up, and that way I have my Strike Force Octavius. But yeah, definitely HQs are though. The company heroes do look cool. They do look cool, but I gotta get myself some HQ choices first because I am woefully lacking that particular viewpoint. I'd like to have like once I get these Hellblasters done, because you saw my battle report, I had my assault intercessors running with my lieutenant, and he's okay with them, but you know, the different abilities you have would probably better suit someone who's shooting a lot more than close combat fighting. So he'll go with the Hellblasters. I'll definitely want to get some more lieutenants. I definitely get some captains and various armorings to spread around and get into my other squads, right? The Terminator captain's great with the Terminators, and the Terminator Librarian's pretty cool. I'll probably have to get a unit Terminator for him to go with. But yeah, lots to do. But yeah, it's been a wild ride with my Ultramarines, and I always love, like I said, I always love this time of year because it lets me, you know, this March of Macragge lets me go through the memories I had over the many years I've been doing this, which is always fun. I think being able to look back and have those memories is important. Even when I worked for Games Workshop, I felt a really big sense of pride having my Ultramarine army on display in the store. Right, I look at it every day because it was my Ultramarines army. It looked freaking awesome. I put so much time and effort into it. Probably why I'm a little bitter of having to do it again, but we moved past that. But yeah, so that brings us to this March from Macragge. I'm going to be doing up my the unit of Hellblasters, which were a Christmas gift from Mythos. So I think it's apropos that I get them done this March, so they're done up. They can join my army. A lot of cool firepower in that unit. I like the fact that they're plasma. Are they plasma rifles? They keep changing. I'm gonna look that up right now. Let's see here. Plasma incinerators are now assault heavy, which is nice. Yeah, that's like that. I know they got rid of all the different options because you'd have like heavy ones, assault ones, the standard ones, but now they're just heavy assault, which is great. I think. So you have any Terminators for my Ultras? I never was big on Terminators for my Ultras. I had a unit of Terminators for my Black Templar army. I was never big on Terminators. I was like running like basic Marines. That was my thing. I definitely the new sculpts are amazing. I definitely want to get them done up for my in the future to do that Strike Force Octavius and have them in there. The Terminator Captain looks absolutely fantastic. Terminator Librarian, they are. I got to say, with the Primaris Marines coming out and the upsizing and the changes, and they've made them feel the way Marines should feel. They are big. They are bulky, which is also cool because Space Marines are super fast. I'm not just talking like on their vehicles, the White Scars tearing around on those massive bikes, or Space Marines, the Dark Angels and their speeders and all. But like this guy is huge, and his armor is thick as heck, right? Like everything about them is an upsize, but this guy could out sprint anybody, right? Even short distance, long distance, this guy can outrun anybody. And that's all that about these massive guys that just they shouldn't be able to move that fast, but poof, they're gone like blurs. I remember it was a fluffy story piece they put in a White Dwarf when the Black Templars got their 4th edition codex, which is also another amazing codex. And they had a fluffy story. They were doing a battle report in the White Dwarf. And, I knew that Space Marines are fast. They're big guys. You kind of think, yeah, if these guys move, they move. But it was a Emperor's Champion who was just practicing with a sword, and he starts doing spins in the air, right? Like you see one of those sword masters just swinging around and just doing flips and spins in the air and going, what? No, what? And then it dawned on me, yeah, these guys are superhumans. Even with their armor makes you even stronger. They're not these big, slow, bulky guys. The Terminators are obviously a bit slower than guys in Gravis armor. It's really thick armor, excuse me. But Space Marines should be able to move. And I like how they, in the Pariah Nexus animated stuff they did, the fact that he can move that fast. They show him being really fast, dodging enemy fire, getting behind stuff. Even, and I don't want to spoil it for you, but even near the end when he's fighting the Salamander intercessors, taking direct fire from a death mark, and he dodges it. He's already wounded, but he just takes a shot and he just dodges it really quick. Goes right by it. Fantastic way to design Space Marines. I like it. But yeah, so back to the book. So much cool stuff in here. But that's my history with Ultramarines and the week I have had. And it's made me sort of reevaluate what I want to do, right? Would love some Terminator armor, massive shoulder pads. Yeah, it'd be cool. I don't know. I don't have any Terminators. I don't think any Terminators have actually come out. Well, I should say for the Horus area stuff, there are Terminators. I don't think any new stuff has come out. I could be wrong. I know they've got some of that really bulky armor. I'm going to look that up real quick here. Because I'm pretty sure. I don't think anything big has come out for the Horus Heresy, has it? I just don't think any Terminator armor's come out. I know they've done some older stuff. Well, yeah, they've had the Cataphracti guy. You can see him. Yeah, that's a big one. The Cataphractis was one of the armors. I know there's some other, yeah, and they have the Legion Cataphractor Terminator Squad, but that was an old Forge World one, I think. Recently, the new plastic stuff. Oh, there's the Tartarus, yes. I keep forgetting about those. So, yeah. The Cataphracti was the one with the big one. I know there's one before that we don't really see anymore. I know there's lots of artwork. I can't remember the name of it. So it's really big, huge armor. The head is so small. And yeah, there's lots of cool old stuff. Who knows? Maybe they'll make one of those. We'll get some new ones. It's up to Games Workshop, but those are the good old days. My current Terminators are, the Cataphracti were cool. They've got the big plate ones. They're not rounded. They're just sort of curved this way. They're pretty cool. They had all the twin link bolters. They didn't have storm bolters the same way as they do now. Those things started coming in with the Sons of Horus had them first. That's why the Sons of Horus were rather extra devastating at the time of the heresy, because they had all the new cool stuff. It took other loyalist legions a lot longer to get it because they're further away, and of course, with all the craziness happening with the fabricated generals Mars all turning traitor or loyalist, and the big epic schism on Mars, lots of crazy stuff, right? Yeah, he did have those guys. The Cataphracti were the older ones. It was, I remember in one of the earlier books, it talks about the Horus's. I shouldn't say, yeah, those Horus's, the Sons of Horus, but it was specifically Abaddon and his guys got like the newer stuff of armor. Yeah, the new Terminators are amazing. The new Terminators are fantastic. They're so huge, sized up accordingly, which is nice. Now we just, at some point, we have to wait for the Assault One versions to come out, because they're coming. That's one of the other things about this book. I love looking through the old books. You see the progression of the designs, the models. I've been looking through here. You look at things like the term, and even the pictures. If you look here, you look at the two different versions. You've got the new guys over here, and over here you got the old school ones. They just, you can see that the proportions have been fixed, and this one just looks weird now, right? I mean, it happened the first time they came out in the last books, when they came out with the Primaris the first time. They have pictures of your new Intercessor Marines and pictures of the old school tacticals. And the tacticals used to look great, and now they look so skinny and scrawny, right? 40 King Fighters will be 32 at the rate. Well, a lot of stuff will be up there, yeah. I mean, they're scaling things up. I think it's because, I mean, the technology's changed now. You can make things a little bit bigger, and you can add a ton more detail than you ever could before. Even with metal. Metal was the way to go because it could hold detail, but now, obviously, plastic, the new stuff just looks fantastic. I also like looking through these ones because you can kind of see where the trend is going, and eventually there's lots of stuff in here we're going to be saying a goodbye to that's going to change. The Tactical Squad. This is probably the Tactical Squad's last edition. All right, everything else has been replaced. Everything's been made new. I can look around. I think this is the last. I think this will be the last edition for things like the Vanguard Veteran Squads as they are now. They'll change up. The Terminator Assault Squad will obviously, it won't disappear. We'll get the new models eventually. The Centurions will stay around. They're different enough. Marines within Marines, always joke with that. Our Dreadnoughts, this is the last edition, I think we're going to see the old school Dreadnought, because we have the Redemptor, the Ballistus, the Brutalis. You got the Invictor Tactical Warsuit, which is like a baby dread. Right, I think it's just, we also, the Devastator Squad this is probably the last one we're going to see for the Devastator Squad. I have a feeling things like the Whirlwind, the Predator, Vindicator, they're probably on their way out too, because they have, in one way or another, other than maybe the Vindicator and Whirlwind, the Gladiator, Lancer, the Valiant, the Reaper, all do the Predators do. I don't think we'll ever see Land Raiders go away or drop pods, but Razorbacks, Rhinos, those are all heading out as well. I think those will probably gone. And then in the newer edition, they just they've been kits that have been around forever. And kits that have had their time in the sun, and now the sun is setting on them. But Ultramarines are forever. So where does it leave us now? So I've got those 5 Hellblasters I got to get painted up ASAP. I want them to look good. I think I've nailed my new speed painting with them. It looks good. I did it for the Infernus Marines and the Reavers I painted up. Looks great. It has the new. I like it. It's a bit of a darker blue, which I like. But yeah, so I'm gonna get those guys painted up. Hopefully, time willing, I'll be able to get the Reaver Lieutenant done so he can join the Reavers, because Reavers are, as I know, they're not that great. I still love them. I think they look great. I like the fact that you've got these Space Marines with slightly less protective, not enough that it gives them a 4+ armor save. They still have a 3+ armor save, but a lighter. See, that's a Raven Guard thing more than anybody else. But the fact that you can have these silent Marines, I love it. I love it. Yeah, I'm hoping. Yeah, I'm hoping I get those 5 guys done, get the lieutenant done, and if I still have time, that I'm really hoping to get some more HQs done. That's definitely where I need to go next. Of course, I got to get myself some of the new Gladius stuff. I need to get some new background and like some more back end heavy fire support stuff to support my Ultramarines as they charge forward. The big trend, though, I will continue. I'm going to keep getting more guys on foot. I've always been, ever since 2nd edition, all the way till now, I've always been about boots on the ground guys. I've always had lots of Ultramarines. Again, it was sort of the cinematic thing, seeing, and I go back to the cover of the 2nd edition Ultramarines Codex, because you had that captain with the banner. I guess he could be an ancient. I don't know. They don't really say, but he's got the wreath around his head. He's got the big power armor, and he's got a massive banner behind him. He's standing on like a chunk of rock, and all around him, surrounding him, is a sea of Ultramarines. You got tactical Marines. You got Devastator Marines with the big missile launcher with all the red all over it. Right, red was a big thing back then. You've got a whirlwind in the background moving through. You got Terminators, you got Marines. So it was just this sea of Marines, and that's why I like taking pictures. It just has tons of Marines in it. And luckily, I can still pull it off. I've got 3 10-man tactical squads that I don't really use anymore. I didn't use them in the battle report either. Well, hey, no, it was great having you here. Thanks a lot, and you keep on doing your good work too. It was great to have you here. Thank you very much. See you later. But so I've always liked to have lots and lots of Marines. I've always been infantry heavy. I don't know if that's what I'm supposed to do, but it's what I've done with my Ultramarines. I always love the just having tons of Marines, right? Not a horde army, obviously, but lots of fun. Nice. Good night, Bill. Lots and lots of fun with that. I was watching a good chunk of, I watched his live stream today. I started watching last night. Mythos's, and he was talking about some of the cool history stuff there. I like talking about the sergeant's helmet being red, and how that was at one point a site of censure. That was really cool, because he was a Space Marine who always wanted to be. He was an Ultramarine, and he always wanted to be prepared for everything. That's sort of the Ultramarine thing. Always having the information, being prepared, being ready, everything categorized and ready to go. And people, like he mentioned, people joke that Gulliman's superhuman ability was to being like, everything categorized. He was a perfect calculator, right? Which is kind of true, but he was also so much more than that. But it was really this cool this Space Marine. I'm trying to find his name. I can't find it right now, but it was this desire to be ready drove this Ultramarine to start practicing Marine on Marine tactics. Right? We know how to fight the Orc. We know how to fight the Eldar. We know how to fight all these other things. We know all these tactics. But what happens if I had to fight a Space Marine? How would I do that? Of course, he was censured. He was given the red helmet, saying, "You're done, man." Like, it was unconscionable at this point that he would somehow, it was unconscionable that you'd actually fight another Marine. I mean, no sense. They're brothers. The Primarchs are brothers. It's this unbreakable brotherhood. It's going to carry. Of course, that turned out to not be true, right? And so eventually they saw the wisdom in, oh yeah, maybe we should have, not not censored him. And so, of course, that's how the helmet became the sign of the sergeant, right? It went from a punishment to an honor, which was cool. And of course, lots of weird stuff happened in Heresy. We don't need to talk about that. I know some people are still a little upset about that. No, but it was really cool, and it's one of those cool things that I think was great. And back to Gellerman, he's got this. He kind of grew up having everything, and he was almost like the avenging son. He was pretty much the perfect crusader for the emperor, right? He went through, he conquered efficiently, he built up, rebuilt the infrastructure of a plant, and went on to the next plant. Other ones went farther and did it faster, but none of them did it like he did, right? You have places, and so that was the cool thing. Also, I like the fact there is a duality to him. On one side, there is the statesman, the guy who will do it. He is the consummate warrior. He'll fight. He'll destroy, but he always rebuilds. He's always looking to make things better. But then there's the other side of him, which I hope that we get to see more of, and I think they should delve with it. They did it in the Heresy books there. After at Calth, when he gets basically dumped outside of a ship and he's fighting on the outside of one of their big, massive cathedral battleships, and he's just tearing through word bearers. He is pissed, and when he gets pissed, he goes savage. I know there's one point where there was some guards going, they were there for his safety. Like, we have to take care of him, and he is just annihilating everything. He's so pissed off, which is really, it's cool to see this side of him, this guy who, that's an amazing scene. There's a couple of them like that where he goes, he has, he's got like a Wolverine berserker rage. He just starts tearing through stuff. He is pissed, which I think is cool because it does. You got people like Russ, who's ferocious. He is. He's a space wolf. He is the space wolf. You have someone like Dorn who's got major rage issues, right? You got like Angron, right? But then you've got, and they all have their own personality quirks and faults and traits, but you have this guy who's totally put together. But the minute that you get in his way, you're done, and that's why I love the. Well, yes, they all have rage issues in a certain way, but it's just the switch on Gulliman, and it happens even. And I loved when they brought him back because they had this. You have these moments like he literally is brought out of hybrid. It's probably one of my favorite returns of all time, where the Macragge is under attack. Call's there. He's there with the Yanari people, and Tigerius is like, Calgary, you gotta let them do what they gotta do. I know, I've seen it. This is what we need to do. They're surrounded by Chaos Space Marines. They're being attacked. The fighting has gone into the Temple of Hera, where Gulliman's body's been in stasis, and they're fighting massive chaos invasion, and the stasis gets turned off, and you hear this last breath come out, this, and it says it's a sound that will haunt Marius Calgar the rest of his life. There's literally, they've turned the stasis off, so at that very second, Gulliman dies. Like that, he put him in stasis before he died because the slice on his throat of the anathema that Fulgrim had. So that very second, that's basically Gulliman dying. That's at the last breath. Of course, then Cull's machine wraps around him, and they're still fighting. And then, of course, it falls away, and Gulliman is standing. He's awake. He's alive. The scar's gone. He's covered in his armor. He's got the hand of Dominion. He's got the Emperor's sword in the other one. And, of course, he goes in like full God mode, beast mode, rage mode, because he just looks at this Chaos Space Marines and then dives right in and just starts destroying them left, right, and center. He rallies his Ultramarines, right? And then he pushes them back to defeat Chaos. But which is amazing scene. It's an incredible scene because all of a sudden You know, a Primarch is back. And again, it's one thing I do like. Games Work's got its faults, but when it comes to writing some of the stuff, it's amazing. I remember when the Horus Heresy started, the books, and this is before they decided. Well, at this point, they may have decided it was a game, but before we knew there was a game coming, the Horus Heresy books came out, and there was Primarchs, and people. I remember my coworker and I built a Marnius Calgar model for my Ultramarines. Fortunately, I've taken apart. I've got Marnius Calgar now, but it was just an attempt at making Marnius Calgar. And we tried to think of what the stats would be. And lots of people did this, building their own Primarchs. Because no one in their right mind thought that we would ever see Primarchs, let alone Demon Primarchs, back in 40k. It was not going to happen. It was just too powerful. Crazy powerful. You basically have walking gods on the battlefields, right? And so now that, it's crazy if they brought him back. I don't know. One of the next scene is he's back in his room on Macragge, and he's like, why did you bring me back? Have I not suffered enough? Like, Emperor, please, why am I back? I don't want to do this anymore. I was there for the worst, the best days, and then everything that came after, all the horror, the destruction, and he's, like, this is not what my father wanted. It's superstition, and it's fallen so far from what the dream was supposed to be. Why they bring me back? And he looks up on the defenses and the parapets around him, and these, Marines, Ultramarines, clad in their bluest blues, the gold, standing guard, continuing. And the line, it's a beautiful line, is he's like, they fight for a dream that they never knew. Right? They are still fighting. 10,000 years later, the Ultramarines are still out there fighting for a dream that they never knew. It was never their dream, but they're holding on to it. And so it's this wonderful scene of him going, of his faith is restored, not by religion, but the fact that he sees these Marines out there, these Ultramarines, still fighting for a dream that it was never their dream. It was someone else's dream, and they're just holding on to the shattered remnants, but they're still fighting. And it gives him that, it's like it clicks something in him and goes, no, I can't give up. I can't give up. I can't give up now. Yeah, it sucks, right? And at this point, they said he was stuck in the armor forever. It's keeping him alive. If he takes it off, he'll die. They've now added some new stuff to it, where he met with Eldrad, and Eldrad's like, oh, you can take the armor off. It'll be the most pain you've ever been in your entire existence, but you're strong enough to deal with it. So I don't know what they're going to do with that. What storyline will come from that? But Eldrad said, you can take it off. It will be because it'll be the worst pain, because it won't just be a physical ailment you're coming over. It's a soul, something. When you were brought back, you came back damaged, right? Something isn't 100% right with Calgar, with Guilliman, because when he got hurt, when he was injured with Fulgrim's Anathame, it damaged something on a soul level, right? So when he comes to it, it's going to be this massive. But I have a feeling when it's fixed, we're going to see, because we're seeing a lot of cool stuff with Primarchs having these new supernatural abilities. Because part of the Primarch thing, not and a spoiler if you haven't read through all the books, but part of the Primarch thing is that they are, on certain levels, creatures of the warp. Right, the Emperor did make deals with the Chaos Gods at one point in helping create his, which is twisted, I know, but it's part of it's 40k. They are part of the warp. They have little bits, and obviously you look at look at the loyalist ones, because obviously the traitor ones have fully become demon Primarchs. You look at Mortarion and Magnus and Fulgrim, Angerod, and they're full-on demon Primarchs, right? They've been twisted and mutated horns and wings and snake bodies and all that stuff, or they're giant bug wings with anyways. But if you look at in Dark and Prematurely, he practiced staying out of his armor longer and longer. T says when he first started doing it, a few minutes of armor would have him balled up. Yeah, exactly. So it's gonna be a spiritual thing, right? because I think part of him is damaged. Because if you look at the lion with his forest walking ability, he didn't have that before. That's something that has awoken him over 10,000 years. He's the ability to just like disappear and reappear. That's crazy. Um, and then you look at there's a story that talks about Korax, and he meets up with Lorgar, and he's basically this dark. It's almost like a living ink blot. He's this massive, giant ink blot, and when they and he's been hunting them, and when his word bearers come up to this blighted land and they start fighting it, it's just this massive black ooze that can change form. It goes from this massive monster to a flock of crows, right? Or ravens, I should say. And they say it's a demon, and Lorgar looks to it, that's no demon. It's not a demon. And then it raises up and it changes form again, and it becomes Korax in his armor with his big metal wings. They have this massive battle, huge battle, and Korax, they both get injured. Korax knocks Lorgar back through this portal, and it's like, I have your scent now. So we know Korax is out there, and he's like it's not him just like diving into shadow. He is shadow now. He is inky blackness now, right? So I think we're gonna see all these. I think we see Primarchs changing up as the storyline goes on, getting these weird abilities. I mean, I don't know who's next. I'd love to see another Loyalist Primarch. I think we need to even up a bit. I'd love to see, Russ come back, or Khan, or hell, even Dorn. I to this day, even when I read the stories, it's vague enough. Even back in third edition, when they start talking about Dorn missing and all they have is a hand, it's just like a skeletal hand, and they describe the names on. If you don't have the body, you didn't see the body. Dorn's not dead. Where he's been for 10,000 years, who knows? Who absolutely knows? I have no idea. But it's great to see them all come back. I'd love to see them all come. But yeah, I have a feeling that Guilliman's story isn't done. Like you said, he's able to be out of it hours at a time. I think he's going to be able to go without it permanently. But I think it's going to be an almost like a spiritual battle for himself, right? He's been 50. Oh God. He's maybe halfway. He's missing one, right? But I don't know. I'd love to see more of them come back. I'm eagerly awaiting the fluff where the Lion and Guilliman meet, because I think that'd be great for them to meet up. Because Guilliman has a allegedly Fulgrim is coming soon. Russ, the end of the edition, like Lion came at night. Yeah, I don't know. Fulgrim would be cool. I mean, we got the Fulgrim Ascendant model there for the Horus Heresy, which is absolutely fantastic. It's a massively cool model. And Fulgrim's kind of been in the because Fulgrim is back, right? That's the thing. Fulgrim disappeared for a long time, obviously, but but even in the return of like the Rise of Primarch, he's there. He's needling at Guilliman the whole way through, right? At one point, Guilliman ruins her planet. There's big awards. There's a planetary governor goes, "Oh, it's amazing. It's so beautiful. It's so great that you're back here. Wear a crown." And he's about to put the crown on, and he realizes what's going. He chucks it down, and he could hear Fulgrim going, like, "Oh, I'm if you like, I'm not going to let you enjoy this. You take any enjoyment, I'm going to be all over you." So, and even some of the Psychic Awakening, there's little hints of this massive snake-bodied greater demon of death, right? Emperor's Children need. Oh, they do. I would love to see the Emperor's Children get their own book. I think they have been of all the armies, the first of all the original Traitor Legions. They're the ones who've probably had the hardest time. Even if you go back to the old books, if you built a you had solid enough units and background for everybody, but the Emperor's Children have like one unit, and it wasn't even really that unique. It was like, here's guys with some special weapons or heavy support choice. if you make a whole thing, they can be troop choices, but there wasn't a lot to go on. You look at the Thousand Suns have a whole bunch of stuff. Um, the World Eaters, the Thousand Suns, the Death Guard, they have stuff. So I would love to see one. I'd love to see some new cultist units, some new units other than just Noise Marines. That could make some specialized Terminators or sonic weapons. They get a whole bunch of stuff. They're also built on speed. So I'd love to see some new units for some speeds. Right? They were in the other ones. They always got more initiative. So back in like 3rd edition, they would always get +1 initiative. So you had initiative 5 Marines. So when you charged in, you usually got to go before other people because you're fast. They were good at fighting. So I'd love to see Fulgrim come back. I'd love to see what's his name now? I can't remember his name now. Sword dude. What's his name? I mean, Bile's gotten new stuff, but he's a little bit. Now I have to look it up. What is his name? Why does it escape me now? Oh, I don't like this. Where is his name? Oh, what is his name? There is Lucius the Eternal. I couldn't remember that. Yes, thank you, Lucius. Yeah, I'd love to see a new Lucius model. I'd love to see Fulgrim. I'd love to see new units for them. I'd love to see their fluff get very much more developed. They're least developed of all of them. It'd be cool to see, and of course, there's the whole thing with there being another Fulgrim out there, right? There are at this current point in 40K, there are 2 Fulgrims out there. There's Fulgrim with all his demon Primarch goodness out there causing problems, and then there's a perfect clone of Fulgrim who is untouched by chaos, which is really cool. I would love to see getting 2 Fulgrim models. One in all his snaky 4-armed winged goodness, another one bearing something close to his old armor. I think would be really, really cool. But we'll see. But yeah, they definitely need they need a redo. They need better models. I'd love to see them. Yeah, make the codex so you can play as loyal trader. That would be cool, right? A couple different Fulgrims would be great. I think that'd be amazing. It would also be very, very weird, Calgar or Gulliman rides up there. I'm gonna take you down, Fulgrim, you horrible base trader, and then looking, going, whoa, wait a minute, and seeing 2 of them standing there, go, whoa, okay, whoa. Well, the thing is, if you're going to do a loyalist one or a trader one, you'd have the trader one would be in his full demonic form, right? The tail, the forearms, the wings, everything. The other Fulgrim would look as he did before he ever fell to chaos, right? I think it was one of the most well-designed, subtle ways that he got it. He picked up a demon sword during some of the campaigns, and they mention how subtle it is, which is awesome. He's standing on the bridge of a ship, and he's getting his sword that he doesn't remember calling for. Doesn't remember calling for his sword. He's like, what? Okay, anyway, so he puts it aside. It's already affecting him, even to the point where they meet with Eldrad and a bunch of his Eldar, and Eldar's like, your crusade is in trouble. You are on you are firmly on this road. To get this destination, it's going to lead exactly where we ended up. Right? They had their fall. The Eldar were at the pinnacle. They had their fall, and mankind hasn't hit their pinnacle yet, and already there's a fall coming. Right? And he looks over at Fulgrim and knows you've already been betrayed. You've already chaos. There's chaos already here, because he can sense the demon weapon that Fulgrim picked up, not knowing it was. And start of the fall. So I'd love to see a Fulgrim, and who knows, there could be a Fulgrim that he could start leading Emperor's children that are loyal. I mean, we know that there are loyalist Space Marine chapters out there now that are built off of traitor gene seed, because the gene seed was collected and hidden away for those traitor legions, locked away. I mean, to mention that you have the Blood Ravens that have a high number of librarians, big on relics and all that, stealing them. Knowledge is power, being very secretive, not. I believe that I think it was finally brought up that they are made from which one is it? They are made from Thousand Suns gene seed, right? There's some other ones that you definitely know are probably made from the World Eater gene seed. So I wouldn't be surprised if there are chapters out there that were made with Emperor's Children gene seed, right? At some point, some Inquisitor thought it'd be a good idea to ransack the gene seeds of 8 of these traitor legions to make new Marines, right? So I think it'd be cool to see him at the head of an army of Emperor's Children, basically to say, we're taking this back. Fulgrim on Fulgrim battle, that would be so cool. But who knows, right? Who knows? I know I'm excited for whatever happens next. I'm excited for Marks Macragge. I want to see. I want to make sure that I do the models the best I can. Do some dreaming through this thing here. I definitely got to get. I have to get. I have Ventress. I got to get myself Tigurius. I got to get Calgar. I have Guilliman. I got to finish him up. Definitely some models I got to get. I have Sicarius. I should probably get him done too, because he can lead a whole bunch of cool stuff. I think we should. Hopefully we'll get a new model of him at some point in the future. He needs a new one. I wouldn't mind at some point Cassius coming back. I think, especially I found it weird. Like you do Leviathan as this new starter set to get people into the new edition, and throughout the years they've been mentioning training war veterans left, right, and center, but they're gone. And cool, the new Stern Guard are very cool and could easily fit in for them. But I thought that was a missed opportunity. Why not have Cassius? Why not have training war veterans in plastic? It'd be really cool. People would buy that. I can't tell you the number of times that I went to the Games Workshop web store over the years, and the training war veterans are sold out. You should finish. I should finish him, but I definitely want to get my. Like I said, I'm big on Marines, right? I'm big on my foot slog and Marines, so I got to get the Hellblasters done. I got to get some other HQs done, or leaders. Sorry, I'm still using the old terms. I'm an old fogey here. I'd love to get them done first, because I've always put my trust in the basic Marine, right? So I'm cleaning my war boss. There you go. Is that a euphemism for anything else? I cleaned my war boss 3 times last night. Hello, you look like the most manlier. Okay, thank you. Present, so you just had a nice bubble bath. Only the best. Well, I mean, even orcs know that once in a while, nothing makes you feel like a true orc than a nice bubble bath, right? I mean, you're out there, you're sweating, you're yelling, you're dakaing, you're hollering, you're wahing and all that. But, I think it's a benefit of being war boss. You just sit there, you tell all your knobs to bugger off for a little while. You have your nice stuff, a nice, relaxing bubble bath, with a rubber. Exactly. Well, it would be a rubber squiggy. Right? I mean, they get squigs for everything. So you got the hair squigs. So I'm sure they have a squig that has specifically been designed to be like a rubber ducky squeeze. Right? So enjoy your bubble bath. Yeah. Let the gods get the heart to reach. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure that's what the grots. That's probably one of the best jobs a grot could have. Right? Like that's probably the best job. You're not being thrown in front of units to take bullets. You're not being walk through mines. You're not being chucked through the air to try and get some reconnaissance. You're not being fed to squigs. being sat on, stepped on, crushed, shot at, eaten. So I'm pretty sure, helping give your war boss a sponge bath after a successful walk is probably the best job that any grot could ever have, right? Um, yeah, no, I definitely think that's probably a conversation I needed. Man, see, that's what it's all about. That's where the fun really comes in. When you could take something like mentioning that you're cleaning your war boss and turn it into a conversation about how even war bosses need to take a little me time to make sure that they're feeling their best. Would you want to go out and walk when you're not feeling your best? You just don't feel it. You really want to stand out there, right? You really want to be out there having a good time. You need to take care of yourself once in a while, right? Now, is the water the cleanest? Probably not. Is there a chance that some of the grots defecate in it? Probably, but that just adds to the flavor. Yeah, washing his hair squig, right? You got to take the squig off and give it a. I need a rubber squiggy for a bathtub now. You see, here's the thing: if we get together on this and we really push it to Games Workshop, hey, you got your plushy squigs, your plushy sassy nurglings, you got all that stuff. We need a rubber squeaky, right? I'm just saying, if it's money on the table, if you don't, nice little rubber squeaky, you just throw it in the bathtub, a little squig that floats on there, squeak squeak, right? I think it would work. Make Games Workshop millions. The franchise works, but it'll be funny. Yeah, you know what? We should all have so like, dear Games Workshop, if you do not make a rubber squeaky for my bath time, I play orcs and feel left out because I do not have a rubber squeaky. That's what it's all about, guys. That's the fun, right? It's crazy. For Christmas, I got a lanyard for my keys. It says "For the Emperor," Ultramarine symbols all over it. I also got a keychain, which I won't actually use for keys because unfortunately, Games Workshop doesn't use the best metals for making their keychains. But it's a mastercrafted bolt rough. My boys love it. I'd love for a rubber squeaky Nurgle soap. Uh, guaranteed to make you dirtier than when you went in. It's like, I love this Nurgle soap. Oh, look at that tentacles out of my arm. Oh no. No, I don't. I would avoid Nurgle soap. Not gonna have the Nurgle soap. Right? Yeah. Were they gonna have a Nurgle commercial? Where 9 out of 10 users are satisfied. Yeah, I love it. I got all these extra tentacles. It makes shaving awesome. Right? I took a shower once. Now I'm a supporter of Nurgle. Big hornhead. Now I love Nurgle. Right? No. That's heretical, sir. Volume shampoo. I'm pretty sure that was the Herbal Essences commercials, right? It was an organic experience. You go in the shower. Yes. Oh God, yeah. Like, no. We've already had that. That was Herbal Essences. Everybody made fun of that. That was Herbal Essences. It was a total organic experience, right? So we've already had that. Now, what if you had like shampoo from like I don't know, like corn? There's just like rage, like, oh, it's getting clean. What are you gonna? No, it's very scary stuff. You're going down a slippery slope. Got to pull you back. Didn't that? Bring it back, right? We're talking about Ultramarines. It's March and Macragge. Okay. Everybody else has their month. This is our month. They can't have it. Okay, it's our month. But yeah, so I'm still a little stunned. It was a crazy corn skin peel. Oh, good Lord. Oh, you gotta stop. It's bad. No. It was a crazy week. I can't believe that, I put out the video, and I'm gonna say this to Mythos, man. You're nervous. I was super bloody nervous. I edited together as best I could. I used editing on my phone just because I like doing it. It's easier that way. I gotta get editing stuff on my computer, but that's a in the fullness of time sort of thing. I tried to time it as best I possible, so I get that amazing intro from Baltimore in there. I was so nervous. I stood there as I set up the schedule. I'm standing there editing it, making sure I've got all the stuff I need in there. And I'm just like, man, I don't want to hit publish. I don't want to hit okay. I'm scheduling it, but I was so nervous. But it was amazing. Put your battle port out there. People are gonna love it. Take that chance. It was crazy. I'm glad I did it. Again, to have Baltimore do the intro and even offer to do the intro, huge, massive. I cannot believe it. Still, just amazing. And then just to it was a big chance. It was a big risk. I was really nervous. I was frustrated from the failures of the first one, but go and do it, man. It's worth it. You're going to have a ton of fun. And I know you know how to play the game better than I do. Your battle port's going to be amazing. You got 2 full armies there. Your Ultramarines look fantastic. Keep it up. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to this month. I think it's going to be great to get those Hellblasters done. And, maybe I should finish Gullman. I've got his base done. I started on his base first. He's actually not glued to it yet. I've already put the base coat of blue all over him. I'm still in a process of doing that. I've got the very base coat of blue. Next, I have to do some of the other highlighting for the blue. Then I have a mass ton of gold to do and all the silver. There's a lot of very fiddly parts, all the little things. There's tons of red to do on them. Of course, then there's this flame, the Sword of the Emperor with the flame. Because fire is difficult to do properly. You can't be. I'm super nervous. It's going, hey, man, good luck. I will be watching it, and I will be loving it. Just go have fun. Oh, the other cool thing is there's that, what's it called? My brain fails me at this point in the night. Where is it? Who is it? Vanguard Tactics. So if you haven't heard of Vanguard Tactics, I'm an affiliate with him anyway. But the guy who runs it there. He's actually been featured in the White Dwarf doing his tactical stuff. He's amazing at. Again, not affiliated, but I was able to get a bunch of stuff because I'm interested, but it's pretty expensive stuff. So I just don't have the funds for it. But I was able to get a whole bunch of stuff. But he's got the master classes, and there's one for Adeptus Mechanicus, the Space Room one. I'm still going through the videos. They have everything. So I've been reading up on that. Amazing tactics, amazing videos. It's made me think about things in ways I didn't even think of it. Like even Oath of the Moment. It says you have rerolls to hit. I thought, okay, and for me, that's rerolls that I missed to hit, right? I'm hitting on 3s with whatever weapon, and I rolled a couple 1s and 2s. I get to reroll those. No, it's reroll them, and the tactical. It broke my brain for a minute that even the ones that hit, if I'm trying to get critical hits, I can reroll everything that wasn't a critical hit. So even if I roll 10 dice and I get 3 6s and I get say 4 1s and 2s, a mixture in there, I can reroll everything into those 6s to try and get more critical hits. I didn't even think about it that way. It was huge. Oh my God, that's insanely smart. Because it just says you can reroll the hit. It doesn't say missed hits. Just reroll the hits. Right? And I had to look up it. So I found my book out. I usually have this put away. I was looking up, where is it? Rules, combat patrol. Yeah, it says enemy use the Oath of the Moment target. Each time all with ability makes attack, targets your Oath of the Moment target, you can re-roll the hit roll. It's not missed hits. It's I get to re-roll the hit. So I'm actually going through now looking at the different detachments because they break down the detachments. It's opening up which is great. You should always be open to having your mind change on something. Oath of the Moment, I didn't even think worked like that. I even used it in my battle port. I didn't even think about using it to re-roll stuff that had hit. I'm sort of locked in the old school ways of it was always re-roll missed hits. And I'm talking even back 3rd, 4th, 5th. It was always something you can re-roll missed to hit rolls. This is just re-roll them. Mind blown wide open. Now, again, I'm not affiliated with Vanguard in any way, but holy crap. Just wow. And I'm only on like the 3rd video, right? There's so much to watch in this. It's just blowing my mind. But so yeah, that's the other thing I'm doing. I'm trying to get myself back into it because I do eventually want to have a game. I am going to be going to local places because I do want to get an actual game with someone, and I want to be at my very best. Is why I'm also trying to get more of my Premiere stuff done. Because there's lots of stuff in there. The one I'm on right now is the Gladius detachment, which is, and they say it, and I agree, it is probably the most balanced one possible. But I definitely want to start building my army for a Gladius one. That is the Ultramarine one. Obviously, there's different options. I know it's kind of weird with all the stuff I have now. I have my um, I've got my Assault Intercessors, I've got Reavers, I've got Furnace Squad. Everything I have is that I've done so far, for the most part, with all the new Primera stuff, is more close combat oriented. So I can take the Firestorm detachment. So I'm going to read through that. I used to love doing combo like that with Night Vision, Gaz, and Macragge. Macragge, we get more wounds of 6s and Gaz let him your Macragge, slaughter tanks and dreads of that. Yeah. Right. Again, I didn't even think of that. I was sort of stuck in this whole viewpoint. It's blown my mind. But yeah, I definitely, and it's opened my eyes to other things I wasn't really looking at. Now, again, don't want to become a meta chaser, right? And go, oh, I got to chase it. But definitely opening up some tactics I wasn't even thinking of. And again, as an Ultramarine player, they're the guys that have all the tactics. They're the most adaptable chapter, right? Again, the Blood Angels, they follow the Codex, but they're all about close combat, right? Fast close combat. You've got the Space Wolves who don't follow the Codex at all. They're all about epic deeds and just going down in massive battles. You've got the Imperial Fists or Siege Masters, lots of heavy firepower. You've got all these different chapters, do things differently. But the Ultramarines are the ones that, from my perspective, anyways, as an Ultramarines player, they're the adaptable ones. They may not be the Siege Masters, but they know how to siege. They know how to defend a siege. They know how to overwhelming firepower. They know about close combat. They know about speed. Yes, they may not be the masters of it, but they don't get locked down in it like some of the other ones, right? Like if you build a nice, White Scars army, lots of bikes, but it means you have less men. It means you're locked down in this particular fighting style, right? So that's definitely something. Again, that's why I had to mention it. Popped in my head. I had to mention it, right? Definitely going to be getting, and all the cool stuff you can do with the Gaia's Task Force. But yeah, so Hellblasters are first. They're definitely my go-to guys that I'm going to get done. And then I want to get some other leadership done because I want to make sure I have guys spread out who can use their abilities to boost the specific units I need. But I think, guys, it's getting late now. I'm going to end our little chat there. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I thought I'd start off March Macragge with a little bit of history of why I've painted some of the, again, these models, how we've gone from this little guy right here in Rogue Trader to, the way that Marines look now. Just obviously technology has changed, molding has changed, the way things are designed. But I love the fact that even in the many, many, many years in between these models, while, yes, there's a lot of differences, the base is still there, right? Which I think, again, is fantastic. But that is all I have to say about that for the beginning of March Macragge. I'm going to get those models up. I hope you guys, paint up, if it's something blue, something ultramarine, let us see what it is, right? It's just send it to Mythos or myself. Post it on your own channel. Show it off. We'll show it off. It'll be because it's just a fun way to have fun and get this community together over something cool. What a great stream, Bo. Thank you, man. Thank you very, very much. And I will see you guys later this week. I'm going to hopefully get some stuff done, and I can showcase what I've done. And next Saturday, I will be back with another live stream. Thank you very much, guys. I will see you later. Keep rolling those dice. Bye.